Okay, so welcome back to 12 Days of Christmas, Day 3, where we are revamping my shelves. As you can see, bookshelf 1 is looking fantastic. 2 is looking fantastic as well. Now we're going to come over to this mess right here. I don't know what's going on there, but we need to fix that. So let me get the books and I'll be right back to show you what's on the shelf. Okay, so I am back. I've got 2 shopping bags worth of books. And I have a box set. I'm going to need y'all to help me with this one because, yeah, it's the box set that I have to decide if I'm going to keep it or if I'm going to sell it. Yeah. Anyway, so the box set is for the end. All right, so let's get started with what I've got out of the first bag. So this first bag consists of books from 2 specific authors. One is Joyce Carol Oates, and the second one is Tom Perrotta. Now, let's start with Tom Perrotta. I have 2 books from him. The first one is called The Leftovers. Now, I think this one was made into a series of some kind. If I'm not mistaken, I did not get a chance to read this one, and I'm not sure if I'm going to. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe I should at least give it a try before I dump it, because this is a beautiful addition. But it says, what if, whoosh, right now, with no explanation, a number of us simply vanished? Would some of us collapse? Would others of us go on, one foot in front of the other, as we did before the world turned upside down? That's what the bewildered citizens of Mapleton have to figure out. Kevin Garvey, the town's new mayor, wants to bring a sense of renewed hope and purpose to his traumatized community. Though Kevin's own family has fallen apart in the wake of the disaster, his wife, Lori, has left to join a homegrown cult, and his son, Tom, has dropped out of college to follow a prophet named Holy Wayne. Only Kevin's teenage daughter, Jill, remains, and she's definitely not the sweet student she used to be. So that's The Leftovers, which I'm not sure. All right, the second one from Tom Perrotta is called The Abstinence Teacher. Now, this one I know I wanted to read. I think I still want to read this one. It says, Ruth Ramsey is a high school sex ed teacher cherished for her honest, frank approach. But this no-holds-barred attitude lands her in an unexpected trouble when a pupil objects to a throwaway comment about oral sex, and in a town full of right-wing Christians who believe honor equals sexual ignorance, that means disaster. As a storm of outrage breaks over the town, change rains down on both their lives, washing away certainty and bringing the paths of their lives together. So this one has been on my TBR, and I'm definitely keeping this one. So I guess I'm gonna keep both of these. I'm gonna see about The Leftovers. I mean, this is the one I originally really wanted to read, and then I said, oh, maybe I'll get this one as well. And I think I bought these in maybe Shakespeare and Co. or something. Let me see, or some bookstore. I know I bought these in a bookstore for sure. No, not Shakespeare and Co. because there's no stamp in it. But I'm gonna keep both of these. If you have read Tom Perrotta, steer me right with this. Am I doing the right thing keeping both of these? All right. Now, the next bunch of books I have are all from Joyce Carol Oates. And I don't think I read any of these, like maybe one, okay? So there's this first one. This is a trilogy. I think it's a trilogy. I'm not sure if it's a trilogy or if it's a quartet. But I think it's a trilogy, this one. And I think this one might be number 2, Them, A Garden of Earthly Delights. I think it might be 2. And it's a quartet. It's called the Wonderland Quartet. Let's just see if I can get you the proper names for this Wonderland Quartet, because I know there, I think I have them all. I'm not sure. Or maybe 3 of them I have. Let's see. Okay, here are all of her novels. Oh dear. I don't think, gosh, she's written a ton of books, man. It doesn't give me the quartet broken down. Oh, damn. I was hoping it would give it to me, say, oh, quartet, and it's this. But no, it doesn't do that. Let's see. Expensive People. I'm wondering if it's not the first 4 on here. So, because it says, with Shuddering Fall, A Garden of Earthly Delights, which I have. Then there's Expensive People, which I have. And then there's Wonderland, which I do not have. So I think I only have 2 books from the quartet, which are these 2 right here. Which I guess the first one would be With Shuddering Fall, which I do not have. So yeah, we got a little issue with that one. But okay, so let's just go through. So these are 2 from the quartet. Expensive People and okay, here, I think it explains it better here. It says Joyce Carol Oates' Wonderland Quartet comprises 4 remarkable novels that explore social class in America and the inner lives of young Americans. In Expensive People, which is this one, Oates takes a provocative and suspenseful look at the roiling secrets of America's affluent suburbs. Set in the late 1960s, the first-person confession is narrated by Richard Everett, a precocious and obese boy who sees himself as a minor character in the alarming drama unfolding around him. Fascinated but yet alienated from his attractive, self-absorbed parents and his privileged world they inhabit, Richard incisively analyzes his own mismanaged childhood, his pretentious private schooling, his successful executive father, and his elusive mother. In an act of defense and desperation, 11-year-old Richard strikes out in a way that presages the violence over young Americans in turbulent decades to come. So this is Expensive People, part of the quartet. So the quartet I'm keeping for sure. And then this is also part of the quartet, which is A Garden of Earthly Delights. So I'm not going to be reading all of that. But anyway, so that's all of that. Them, I thought was part of that quartet, but in fact, I think it is. It's the 3rd novel in the quartet. And so it looks like I've got the first 3 books of the quartet. I'm missing the 4th one. But this is definitely something I want to read, and I'm definitely keeping because this has been on my TBR for ages. So we're going to read that. Boom. Done. All right. Now, the next one is The Tattooed Girl. This one is, let's see, Joshua Siegel, a celebrated but reclusive author, encounters a young woman with synthetic-looking blonde hair and pale, tattooed skin in a bookshop. An uneasy relationship begins, one which lurches between repulsion and attraction. Between hate and love. Okay, one of the world's most respected living novelists brings us a tale of dark passions, prejudice, and the strange forms that love can take. So this could be kind of interesting. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody really talk about, The Tattooed Girl. But hey, I'm here for it. All right, now this is The Missing Mom. And this is a book that We almost read in my Normandy book club, but it was not chosen, sadly. Oh, nice bookmark. That's one thing about my bookshelf. I got some good bookmarks in my books. Okay, it's the first English bookshop established on the continent in Paris, Galignani. Lovely bookmark. Okay, so Missing Mom, when it came out, was really quite yeah, a lot of people were reading it and stuff. But this one is supposed to be really, really good. Missing Mom. I wish we would have read it in our book club, but it did not get it was missing one vote to get picked. But I still had the book and I said, oh yeah, I'm gonna read it. And I still want to read this one. So it says Nikki Eaton, single, 31, sexually liberated, and economically self-supporting, has never particularly thought of herself as a daughter. Yet, following the unexpected loss of her mother, she undergoes a remarkable transformation during a tumultuous year that brings stunning horror, sorrow, illumination, wisdom, and even from an unexpected source, a nurturing love. This is, yeah, I have a feeling this one is going to be kind of good. All right, the next one that I have by her is Mud Woman. This is another one I don't remember hearing anyone talk about. And this one, it says, Mud Girl is a child abandoned by her mother on the flats of the Black Snake River. She survives and in the care of a well-meaning Quaker couple, grows to forget her painful beginnings. But the past is not so easy to suppress. Meredith, M.R. Newkirkin, is the first woman president of a prestigious Ivy League university. She too faces problems, challenges to her leadership, which test her integrity in unexpected ways. And then a reckless trip upstate thrusts M.R. Newkirkin into an unexpected collision with the ghostly Mud Girl and the life of M.R. believes she has left behind. So, yeah, this looks like it could be really interesting. Then we have this one right here, which is called Blonde. And it's sort of like I think this is sort of like a story from the point of view of Norma Jean Baker. And it's supposed to tell us more about who she was as a person. Because it says, Blonde, Joyce Carol Oates' masterpiece, is a deeply moving exploration of the inner life of the woman who became Marilyn Monroe and a portrait of American culture hypnotized by its own myths. So this is one that I've always wanted to read as well, and that's why it's on my shelf. So look like I'm going to be doing some Joyce Carol Oates reading. Now, this one is the one that I'm not sure if I'm going to keep or not. It's gotten some really strange reviews, this one. And I think she may have stepped into something that she is not able to write about very well. This one is called The Sacrifice. It says, when a 14-year-old girl is the alleged victim of a terrible act of racial violence, the incident shocks and galvanizes her community, exacerbating the racial tension that has been simmering in this New Jersey town for decades. In this magisterial work of fiction, Joyce Carol Oates explores the uneasy fault lines in a racially troubled society. In such a tense, charged atmosphere, Oates reveals that there must always be a sacrifice of innocence, truth, trust, and ultimately of lives, unfolding in a succession of multiracial voices in a community transfixed by this alleged crime and the spectacle unfolding around it. This profound novel exposes what and who the sacrifice actually is and what consequences these kind of events hold for us all. Now, already when I heard voices, profound, wait, where was it? It said multiracial voices. Okay, this the part right here where I'm going to go, like it's going to be a crash. I think what I'll do is I will attempt this one. And if I don't like it, I'll just DNF it and, get rid of it. That's all I can do. So those are all the Joyce Carol Oates that I have so far, which are quite a lot of Joyce Carol Oates. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is the one last book on the shelf, which is A Single Man by Christopher Isherwood. This is one that I have been wanting to read. This is the film cover, and I have not seen the film yet either. But before seeing the film, I want to read this book. So I remember when this came out, well, people were all talking about this on BookTube. Because this book came out in 2000, no, before that, 1991, I think it is. No, or 1964, sorry. It was first published in Great Britain in 1964, and it got resurfaced on BookTube when I first joined BookTube in 2013 or 14. This was all over the place. Unfortunately, I have not had a chance to read it. This is a vintage classic, Ex Libris, and it has a whole list of books by Christopher Isherwood, which all seem kind of interesting to me when I kind of looked them up. So I will be keeping this slim novel and hope to get to it very soon. All right, so those were these books. Now, let me get the rest because there's a whole bag. Okay, so I've got 3 more books by Joyce Carol Oates. Whoo, child. Joyce Carol Oates. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so this next one is Give Me Your Heart, Tales of Mystery and Suspense. I don't know what attracted me to buy this one. It says, lust can be dangerous and love violent. In this sinister world, children move beyond their parents' control. Wives and husbands wake up as strangers in lives hang in the balance, for the heart can be broken, shattered, stolen, and given away. In 10 razor-sharp stories, Joyce Carol Oates shows that the most deadly mysteries often begin at home. All right, so this is interesting. This is a short story collection. Our short story collections come in for me in my own shelves without me actually knowing it until now. Wow. Yeah, so maybe I should definitely put this one on the side to have a look at, because short story collections are going to have to be my friend in 2025, I think. Yeah, kind of, sort of. All right. The next one is a Joyce Carol Oates called Black Girl, White Girl. And this is one, I can't remember if I finished reading this one or not, but it was kind of weird to me. So the fact that I can't remember it gives me pause and makes me want to just keep it so that I can read it and see if I really want to keep reading it or if I want to DNF. But it says, in 1975, Jenna Hewitt Mead's college roommate died a mysterious, violent death partway through their freshman year. Minette Swift had been assertive, fiercely individualistic, and one of the few Black girls at their exclusive enlightened college. And Jenna, daughter of a prominent civil defense lawyer, felt duty-bound to protect her at all costs. But 15 years later, while reconstructing Minette's tragic death, Jenna is forced to painfully confront her own past life and identity, and her deepest beliefs about social obligation in a morally gray world. Black Girl, White Girl is a searing double portrait of race and civil rights in post-Vietnam America, captured by one of the most important literary voices of our time. Okay, this is another one I'm like, like I'm going to have to screech. The train is about to hit me. So maybe that's why I can't remember this so well, because maybe I didn't even finish it, or I don't know. But I'm going to keep it just so I can see and I can let y'all know what I feel about it. Now, this last one, Sexy, I did read this one, and I think this is considered YA. I think when I picked it up, I didn't know that it was YA. But as I started reading it, I realized it was YA. So it's North Falls swim team member Darren Flynn is a guy's guy, a jock. He shows promise and his integrity in the classroom. Just ask his teachers. He's shy but sexy. Just ask the girls who are drawn to him like moth to a flame. Darren Flynn is something different to everyone he encounters, and that's fine by him. Until something disturbing, something ambiguous happens that rocks Darren to the core, making him wonder who is Darren Flynn. Now, I do remember reading this and I thought it was kind of interesting actually. And I think I may have given this 4 stars. But you can kind of see it, it looks like it's written yeah, I think it might be YA. If it's not YA, then it might be new adult. Would we call it that? I'm not sure. But I thought this one was pretty good, actually. So, yeah. I'm keeping that one. All right. Now, I did find one of my Yoko Ogawa novels that I have not read yet. And this is called The Diving Pool. Love this cover. Yoko Ogawa, I love her writing. I just love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. I loved reading, what was it, The Housekeeper and the Professor. I read Hotel Iris. It creeped me the fuck out, but okay, fine. I read it. I think I gave that one 3.5. And then I read Revenge. That was really good too, 4 stars. So this one I have not read. Now, Yoko Ogawa has other books out there, but they have not been translated into English. The only other one, and I think I have that, is The Memory Police. Is one of her newer books, which I have not read yet. But some of her other work, her older work, has not yet been translated into English, but it has been translated into French. So your girl just might pick up some more Yoko Ogawa, but in French. So this is The Diving Pool. And I think this is, wait. I think this is short stories. If I'm not mistaken, it's three short stories, or is it a novel? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure. I think it might be a short novel, but I don't know why. Something's telling me it might be, I think it might be 3 short stories in this book. But I'm definitely going to keep that one because Yoko Ogawa is the business. All right, this next one is by Philippe Aronson. It's called Un trou dans le ciel. Un trou dans le ciel. This one I read. I did not like. I think this person, the authors, because this was in Paris at the book festival, and the author, he gave me his autograph. But this is about Jack Johnson, the famous boxer who back in the day was carousing and hanging out with white women. And he had a very kind of boisterous character, and he was a flamboyant dresser. And he even came to France and boxed in Europe and Canada and places. So I read this book, and I don't know if I profoundly hated the book or the character of the person Jack Johnson was. I don't know which one I hated or disliked the most. But this book, I will definitely be getting rid of it, even if it is, even if he did autograph it, I don't care. If worse comes to worse, I just tear it out. Yeah, no, I will not be keeping this one for sure. All right, now the next 2 books are by Paul Auster, and this is a character. Paul Auster is a writer that I would love to love, but I'm not sure I'm going to. And so I think I picked up 3 books by him, and I have read none. And it's because every time I go for it, something tells me like, no, don't go for that. And I feel like it's because he's one of those authors that you just know that when you start reading it, you're going to hate it for some reason. But I have this book called The New York Trilogy, which is super well known and super well liked. But bruh, look at how small that print is. Ay, 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 ay. What was I thinking? I don't do small print like this. So I don't know. I think I'm going to get rid of this one and get a better copy, maybe. All right, next I have this one, which is Brooklyn Follies. And this is the one that I really do want to read. I'm going to keep this one. And, it's also by Paul Auster. And this was a bestseller. It says, this is the Boston Globe. It says, if you haven't read Paul Auster's fiction before, his newest novel, The Brooklyn Follies, is a great place to begin. Auster has written a sublime soap opera about the ways in which people abandon and save one another. He captures a historical moment, our twisted America, and he offers a message of hope. Love will save us. We will save each other. Auster employs tough guy talk and funny, believable stories of folly in the search for wisdom and goodness. Okay, so that's what the Boston Globe said. I'm definitely going to be reading this one because this is really the one that everybody talks about. All right. The next book on my list is this one, Searching for Whitetopia by Rich Benjamin. Now, I picked this one up and I tried to read it. I tried 2 or 3 times to read this one. I couldn't get past page 46. Very, very boring, very dry. And basically this black guy, Rich Benjamin, what he did was he tried to insert himself into highly wealthy, 199% white communities to see what it was really like. And he, gives his, his point of view on this idea of how in America we section ourselves off by our race and how that ultimately affects the U.S. as a whole, as how we're going to advance. But it's a great idea. But I'm sorry, his writing was like, this book was a sleeping pill. I opened this book up. I was sitting in a chair like I'm sitting right now, and I was falling asleep. So I will be getting rid of this one. All right, this one is The Hunger Games, Suzanne Collins. Yes, that was a day back in the beginning of BookTube when I did read a little bit of YA. I read it. I liked the first one. I thought the first one was good, but the second one and the third one, terrible. I will be giving this one away because I'll never read The Hunger Games again. Like, why would I? All right, the next book I have on my list is The Farming of Bones by Edwige Danticat. And I love Edwige. I love Edwige Danticat so much. This one, unfortunately, I have not read. Edwige Danticat is a Haitian writer. And look, she signed this book for me. Ew. All right. So this one, it says, it is 1937. The Dominican side of the Haitian border. Amabel, orphaned at the age of 8, when her parents drowned, is maid to the young wife of an army colonel. She has grown up in the household, a faithful servant, but is still a Haitian in a foreign land. Useful to the Dominicans, but not really welcome. Amabel loves Sebastian, an internet farm laborer who works in the sugarcane fields, farming the bones. He is handsome despite the scars on his face from the lashing cane, and Amabel longs to become his wife and walk together into their future. But there are rumors that in other towns, Haitians are being persecuted, even killed. Soon, Amabel and Sebastian face their real future as the terror unfolds. So this one is one that I've always wanted to read. And I have read other books by Edwige Danticat. I just haven't read this one yet and a couple other ones, but I am keeping this one because I'm going to read this one. All right, the next book I have on my list is another Jonathan Coe novel, and this is The Terrible Privacy of Maxwell Sim. Now, this one is a big book. Like, it's big, but it's only like 330 pages maybe. This one, I don't know. We'll see. It says, Maxwell Sim seems to have hit rock bottom. Recently returned from an unsuccessful visit to his estranged father in Australia, and newly separated from his wife and daughter. He realizes that while he may have 74 friends on Facebook, there is nobody in the world with whom he can actually share his problems. Then a business proposition from an old friend, Trevor, comes his way. A strange exercise in corporate publicity that will require him to spend a week driving from London to a remote retail outlet in the Shetland Isles. But as he drives north, the journey takes a more serious turn, leading him not just to one of the furthest points in the UK, but to the dark secrets within his own family. On the verge of losing his bearings altogether, Maxwell starts to identify more and more obsessively with the tortured figure of Donald Crowhurst, the lone yachtsman whose 1969 attempt at a round-the-world voyage ended in tragedy. Okay, so you can see this kind of has, it's probably like very, dramatic in parts, but also funny in parts, which is typical Jonathan Coe. So I will be keeping this one for sure. All right, the next book on my list is this one right here. It's called Mrs. Poe. Now, I know for sure that I bought this book at a bookstore, for sure. And I think it might have been in Paris at it used to be called W.H. Smith. This one is called Mrs. Poe by Lynn Cullen. But look how beautiful this end pages are. Wow, wow, wow. And there she is right there. All right, so this book is set in the 19th century, and I'm sure that's what got me to pick it up, because I love 19th century. Love it, love it, love it, love it. So this one, it says 1845. New York City is a sprawling warren of gaslit streets and crowded avenues, bustling with new immigrants and old money, optimism, opportunity, poverty, and crime. Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven is all the rage, the success of which a struggling poet like Frances Osgood can only dream. As a mother trying to support two young children after her husband's cruel betrayal, Frances jumps at the chance to meet the illustrious Mr. Poe at a small literary gathering, if only to help her fledgling career. Although not a great fan of Poe's writing, she's nonetheless overwhelmed by his magnetic presence and the surprising revelation that he admires her work. Okay, so you see, this is going to be interesting. Yeah. So above it says, inspired by literature's most haunting love triangle award-winning author, Lynn Cullen delivers a pitch-perfect rendering of Edgar Allan Poe, his mistress's tantalizing confession, and his wife's frightening obsession in this intelligent, sexy, and utterly addictive new masterpiece of historical fiction. I'm keeping this. This sounds good. Okay, now this really big. This is probably one of the biggest books on the shelf, which is this one right here. 1001 Books You Must Read Before You Die. If you don't know this book, it was, a book that was compiled to give people an idea of some of the great works from all over the world. I mean, I still think it's a fairly, it's fairly heavy on the Anglophone white kind of literature side of things. Although what it does do is give you quite a lot of ideas of titles, some that are considered classics and things like that, that you might want to read and maybe hadn't thought about. So like, I like looking through this book regularly because it reminds me of some classics that I wanted to read. And then I can also assure myself by saying, oh my gosh, I read that one, So yes, I will definitely be keeping this one because I bought it specifically because I wanted it to help me construct my overall wide, diverse reading, even more, because I have like something to go on. So this is quite a chunker on the shelf, but I think it's one that I enjoy having because, like I said, I can use it as a sounding board or when I'm looking for specific classic titles or to see where I am in the classics game. This is the book that I kind of refer to for the moment. While I'm making my own list of books by Black authors that I think are important that, should be read, which I'm working on that list as I go along my reading journey. So this one, yeah, it's definitely will stay on my shelf. All right. Now, the last book on my shelf that I can't even believe is on here, Wicked. All right. So, I mean, it doesn't really mean anything because we know that Wicked, the book, is not like Wicked, the movie. So let's get that straight. This is a whole series by Gregory Maguire. I quite like this cover, the way it's done. So you see you have it like this. And then look, it opens like this. And you have the Wicked Witch. All right, so I heard so many things about this book when it came out, and now that it's much later, people are back to reading it again, mostly because the movie came out. I like John Updike puts amazing novel. That was his critique. So this one is a reconstruction of The Wizard of Oz with a very, very adult themes going on. So it says, when Dorothy triumphed over the Wicked Witch of the West in L. Frank Baum's classic tale, we heard only her side of the story. But what about her arch nemesis, the Mystery Witch? Where did she come from? How did she become so wicked? And what is the true nature of evil? Gregory Maguire creates a fantasy world so rich and vivid that we will never look at Oz the same way again. Wicked is about a land where animals talk and strive to be treated like first-class citizens. Munchkinlanders seek the comfort of middle-class stability, and the Tin Man becomes a victim of domestic violence. And then there is the little green-skinned girl named Elphaba, who will grow up to become the infamous Wicked Witch of the West, a smart, prickly, and misunderstood creature who challenges all our preconceived notions about the nature of good and evil. So yeah, there we have it. So Wicked. Will I keep this one? I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if I'm that interested in reading this one, although it does have some really cool things in here. Like look at the table of contents, are pretty cool. And look, it's got cool map in there. And I love a map in a book. Ooh, I'm a sucker for a map in a book now. And it does have some really cool pics as well. Let's see if I can show you. Like, look at this. So this is this could be a very interesting read. But I think, oh, look, bookmark. I think I might need to read this with an audio. If anybody knows if there's an audio of this book, let me know. But I think I'm going to keep it. All right. So those are all of the books, which it looks like I'm keeping everything except for these four right here. These are not gonna come with me. No. So let me just put these on the side. And now the last bit of this video, gosh, is a box set. Now, when these books came out back in the day, I was an adult and I was not really looking like that to read this. As time has gone on, I've only read book 1 of this series. And I've seen quite a few of the movies of this series. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about this right here. the Harry Potter series. This is the Harry Potter collection. This is the adult collection. So you see it looks like this. And ugh, I don't even know if I can get these out because they're so tight. Ugh. They look like this. This is the first one, Philosopher's Stone. This is Chamber of Secrets. This is The Prisoner of Azkaban. So you see that the covers are really much more suited to the adult taste. Now, the question is, do I even bother to read this series? I don't know if I really have the, the desire to read this one like I did when I bought this series. I'm just not sure. That's why I said either I'm going to try to make an attempt to read it, or I'm just going to sell the whole thing to whoever wants to buy it. Because, yeah, Harry Potter, what y'all think? I'm kind of inclined to keep it. Oops, sorry about that. I'm kind of inclined to keep it at least through next year until I eventually try to figure out if this is really what I want to do, is to read this series. Because if I read this series, I'm really going to read it. So I'm going to read one a month until I'm done. And then after that, I don't know if I want to keep it or not. So I'm going to see. I'm going to think about it. Because, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm definitely not sure. So those are all of the books. That's all the stuff. Hope you enjoyed this one. It was a little bit longer because there was a lot more books on here. But let me know what you think about authors like Joyce Carol Oates, Tom Perrotta, Yoko Ogawa, Paul Auster. Let me know what you think about those authors, if any of those are your favorites, or if you like any of the books that I've shown, or you want to encourage me, go ahead, girl, read that. Or no, girl, give that a miss. Let me know. I'm really anxious to hear what you have to say. So stay tuned for tomorrow, because I think tomorrow's bookshelf has got a lot of books on it too. Oof. See you tomorrow. Bye.